Living with a narcissist can feel sort of like living in a prison, but this can also be very confusing and disorienting. And narcissists can invalidate and gaslight you into second guessing and feeling confused about your own feelings on this matter. My goal in this video is to help clarify and validate the feelings that you might have that your home is not really your own. Welcome to Looking Behind the Mirror, where we explore narcissism and take our lives back as we make sense out of nonsense. As a quick disclaimer, everything I say is based on my opinions and my personal experiences. I'm not a professional, and if you're really struggling, I encourage you to seek professional help. I'm providing links below for you. The first thing I want to address is the way that narcissists can really blur the lines and confuse us into thinking that our behaviors are the same thing as what we're criticizing them for. And of course, in this video, I'm going to focus on the types of behaviors that make your home feel like some sort of prison. So as a couple quick examples, maybe you want to go out with your friends one night. You just want to go out to dinner with your friends, but the narcissist will make you feel guilty. Maybe they'll come right out and accuse you of cheating, or maybe they'll just call you all night long every 5 minutes and harass you all the whole time you're out, or maybe they'll just give you the silent treatment. Somehow they're going to punish you for just wanting to go out with your friends, which really kind of makes your home feel like a prison. Like if you try to leave, you're going to be punished somehow. But now a narcissist can turn this around on you. What if the narcissist wants to go out at night with his or her friends and they don't tell you where they're going, or they're out till 2 or 3 in the morning and they come back and it seems like they're hiding something, or maybe you have reason not to trust them. Maybe they've cheated on you before and this seems to fit the same pattern. And maybe you are telling them like, hey, if you're going to be out till 2 in the morning, you need to let me know where you are. Or maybe you don't even dare talk to them that way. But they're going to compare this like, oh, so it's okay for you to question where I am. It's okay for you to get upset about me going and hanging out with my friends, but I'm not allowed to question you. Another example of this might be the way that a narcissist will make you feel like you can't engage in your own hobbies, your own activities. You can't really do anything by yourself for yourself without constantly worrying about whether or not the narcissist is going to be offended, that the narcissist is going to be upset that you're not spending time with them 24/7. This can be turned around on you in a way like, let's say that you are sitting at home one night watching a movie with the narcissist, or maybe you're just playing a board game or something. You're having an activity together, and then they just get up in the middle of it and they go do their own thing. And you feel kind of abandoned, like, well, I thought we were going to have a night together, or I thought we were watching a movie together, and now you're just going off to do your own thing. And then they can turn it around on you, and you can turn it around on yourself and think like, why is it okay for me to be upset that they get up and walk away and make me feel abandoned by going and doing their own thing? And at the same time, how is that different from me wanting to just engage in my own activity or watch my own show or whatever without constantly feeling like I'm being judged? So this is potentially a really complicated, potentially confusing subject. It's not always really clear where this line can be drawn, and narcissists can really take advantage of this. And I'm sure that many of them will buy into their own narratives of what about this? What about that? So I really want to dig into this and try to clarify the differences between the ways that a narcissist will make you feel like your home is a prison and the way that you might behave in ways that seem similar or even the same as the narcissist's behavior. But I want to explain the difference between the two so that you can see it for yourself, mainly for your own sanity. The main difference between these two behaviors is that there is always a power imbalance in a narcissistic relationship. The narcissist has power over the people that they live with, or at least they do everything that they can to have power over the people they live with. They might have emotional control. Maybe they are a lot older than you. Maybe they're your parent. Maybe they financially support you, so maybe you're financially dependent on them, or maybe you're physically dependent on them for some reason. Somehow there's a power imbalance where you are controlled through fear and or guilt where the narcissist has the place to demand things from you, to make you feel guilty or to make you feel afraid, but you don't have that same power over the narcissist. You might get upset over them going out with their friends, or you might get upset that they just stop watching a movie in the middle of it and go do their own thing, but you don't really have a place to impose any kind of control over them or to tell them what to do. And if you try to do this, you're probably going to pay for it. Another really important dynamic here is the dynamic of trust. When you're in a healthy relationship, you trust each other. And if you are a trustworthy person, you should be able to expect your partner to trust you. So if you're in a healthy relationship and you want to go out with your friends, your partner should be able to trust you to just go out with your friends because you want to go out with your friends, right? And then you should be able to trust your partner to go out with their friends, and it shouldn't be a big deal. You should be able to trust each other that you're going to come back, that you're not going to cheat on each other or do anything to betray that trust while you're apart. You should be able to trust each other to respect each other's feelings, and just if you're going to be out till 3 a.m, let the other person know if that's something that they're comfortable with. You should be able to trust each other. In a narcissistic relationship, there is no trust. The narcissist does not trust you, and over time you will probably learn that you cannot trust the narcissist. And it messes with the ability to be able to communicate in a healthy way when it comes to what the other person is doing when you're not around. Another difference in these behaviors is the motivation behind them. When a narcissist is in a relationship with you, they are motivated by their need to control you and to feel superior to you and to dominate the relationship and to have the household revolve around them. They are focused on control. That's their motivation, and that's why they are texting you every 5 minutes when you're out with your friends, or that's why they will give you the silent treatment for 3 days if you go out with your friends. From your perspective, probably, if you are a normal person with healthy motives, your motivation would be to be able to trust, to be able to feel safe, to be able to feel connected to your partner, like you're not alone. These are the motivations that you would have. And so if you slip into an unhealthy pattern of trying to control your narcissistic partner, while that's very unhealthy and ultimately a huge waste of your time and energy, your motives at least are ones of just wanting a reasonable amount of respect or wanting to feel like you matter. When the narcissist does it to you, it's because the narcissist wants to feel like they're in control. They want to feel like the only person that matters, and they want to feel dominant and superior. A narcissist will use fear, guilt, or chaos to control the people that they live with. So they'll make you afraid to do your own thing, or they'll make you feel guilty for spending time for yourself, or they will just cause so much chaos and drama that you don't really have time or the energy to just relax and concentrate on your own thing for any amount of time. Now, if you get into an unhealthy habit of trying to control the narcissist's behavior, trying to control them into being a decent person, you might try these same tactics, but they aren't going to work. They're not going to work on the narcissist. You cannot control a narcissist through fear or guilt, because they don't feel guilty if you feel bad. They don't feel guilty about hurting your feelings, and they aren't afraid of you. They might be afraid of being exposed, but they're not afraid of you giving them the silent treatment or getting mad at them or yelling at them, because they actually thrive on that kind of stuff. So you cannot control the narcissist using the same tools that they use to control other people. And I mean, you can't control the narcissist at all anyway. So there's that. So that's another really important difference between a narcissist's behavior and their partner's potential behavior. And a narcissist will never consider that they may be the one in the wrong, while they will use this against their victims all the time. So somebody that's in a narcissistic relationship might be constantly feeling like they're in the wrong, like they can't do anything right, or no matter how hard they try, the narcissist is always going to be mad at them, and they can internalize this and really start to believe that it really is their fault, their shortcomings, their mistakes that are causing the problems in the relationship. A narcissist is never going to consider that. Even when the narcissist is the one that's causing all the problems, it's never going to occur to them that these problems might be all their fault. So a narcissist is not going to blame themselves for the way that you're behaving, while you may be convinced to blame yourself for the way the narcissist is behaving. And one more difference is that the narcissist feels entitled to do whatever they want whenever they want. They do not feel like you have any right to question them. If they want to stay out till 2 o'clock in the morning with their friends without even telling you that they're going to be gone, and showing up back at home at 4 o'clock in the morning with no explanation, they feel completely entitled within their rights to do that. I mean, who do you think you are trying to control them by asking them where they've been or what they've been doing? You don't have any right to do that in their imagination, but they have every right to do anything they want to do. And you can kind of combine this with their inability to recognize any fault in anything they do, or their inability to consider that they may ever be in the wrong. They feel completely entitled to do whatever they want, whenever they want. They don't feel guilty about it. They don't care how it hurts your feelings, and they will never consider that they might be wrong. So if a narcissist gets it in their head that they're the ones that are living in a prison, they're the ones that are being controlled by you, it might be because of a feeling of irritation that they might feel when you are asking them for reasonable things. When you are trying to ask them to, hey, if you're going to stay out all night with your friends, could you just let me know where you are? That might feel like you're trying to control them. Or, hey, can you not yell at me for 3 hours for something that I can't do anything about? That might make them feel like you're trying to control them, like they're living in a prison. Or, hey, do you think maybe you could go get a job this month? Go find a job and help me pay all the bills? That might feel like you're trying to control them and that you feel so entitled to tell them what to do. So they really might convince themselves in their own mind that you are creating a home that to them feels like a prison. Narcissists feel controlled, they feel put out, they feel like you're being unreasonable and asking way too much when you are asking for communication, basic consideration, decency, politeness, when you're asking them to just do the bare minimum to help support the household in whatever way is reasonable to ask. They feel like you're being controlling and that you are way outside of your rights to do something like that. Because with a narcissist, nothing ever goes both ways. They expect this and this and this and this from you, and they expect you not to expect anything from them. And that's just how their minds work. Narcissists just cannot wrap their brains around the idea that you should be able to expect the same thing from them that they expect from you. They are the sun in the solar system and everybody else is a planet. They are the center of the universe. They are not like you in their imagination. So for reciprocity to exist, for equality, that's not something that they can even understand. So now for you, if you're living with a narcissist or if you have lived with a narcissist in the past, I want to validate your experience and really describe the way that this feels to somebody that lives in a household with somebody else that has to make everything all about them. Living in a house with a narcissist is living under constant fear or guilt or chaos. There is constant confusion, uncertainty, walking on eggshells, this constant feeling that you really just never know what's around the next corner. There's a lack of security, a lack of trust. There is a feeling of being unsafe in your own home, even on good days. And then you are gaslighted when you try to express the way that you feel. You are invalidated. You are made to feel like you're making a big deal out of nothing. Your concerns and your feelings are minimized. And you really just end up living in a very uncomfortable, unsafe environment where you're also made to question your own perception of this, made to feel like you're the one who's crazy, or maybe you're the one that deserves to feel this way because you're not doing things good enough for this person. And you're constantly trying to figure out what it is that you should be doing in order to keep yourself safe, under the illusion that you are somehow the one that controls this. So with the uncertainty, I think this is a really important part of this. You're never really quite sure what the narcissist wants. There's this uncertainty within certainty. You know that the narcissist has certain expectations, but there's also these gray areas, and you're never really sure when you're crossing the line or when you're doing what you're supposed to do. If you were actually in prison, I've never been to prison, but I can guess. I mean, I might be way off here, but let's just imagine that you're in prison and you're supposed to clean your own toilet, and the prison guard is going to come around at completely random times and inspect your cell, and you might always be wondering, like, is my toilet clean enough? Should I clean it? What if they come along in the next 10 minutes and inspect it? What if they don't come along for another month to inspect it? And what's going to happen if it's dirty? I mean, is it dirty? I don't really know how clean it should be, but if it is, are they going to make me clean every toilet on the whole block, or are they going to care, or is there going to be any consequence? There's just like this constant uncertainty and this lack of control, and just knowing that whatever the guard decides to do, you're just at their mercy. You can't really do anything about it. And that's really how it feels when you're in a household with a narcissist. You're never really sure if the toilet's clean enough. I mean, it might literally be that the toilet might not be clean enough, or whatever. Just always worried and wondering, is that good enough? Are they going to come along and inspect that any minute? Is it going to be another month? Are they never ever going to notice it? Is it okay the way it is? And if it's not, what's the punishment going to be? Am I going to get the silent treatment for 3 months? Are they going to yell at me for the rest of the night? Or are they going to make me clean the bathroom for the next 2 hours? And sometimes they can get upset over something that isn't even real. I've been in situations where a narcissist will insist that something is dirty when to me it seems perfectly clean, or I've already cleaned it, and I cannot even see what they mean. I cannot see that it is dirty. So you're made to clean something that is already clean. And it can seem like they're making a big deal out of nothing, or they're just manufacturing problems out of thin air. So you might have spent some time looking at the toilet, wondering if the toilet's clean enough, and you never considered that they were going to start throwing a fit over the dust on the light fixture. So this unpredictability, this lack of control, this uncertainty can make you feel like you're living in a prison in your own home, because there's this lack of communication. In a healthy relationship, there's clear communication. If your partner really wants the light fixtures dusted, they're either going to do it themselves, or there's going to be some kind of clear arrangement between the two of you of how often you're going to clean it and what clean means, right? But with a narcissist, it's just guesswork. You don't know, and you don't find out what any expectations are until it's too late, until you've already messed up. And like what I imagine life in a real prison might be like, you are responsible for things that are outside of your control. Like, I would imagine if you're actually in a prison, if an inmate starts making trouble, there's probably going to be consequences for everybody around that inmate, and that's outside of your control. And in a narcissistic relationship, it can be like that as well. You can't control the way your narcissistic partner's boss treated them that day, or the way a cashier treated them that day, or just whatever crappy mood they're in, or maybe their sports team lost or something, or maybe they just think that the window's dirty and you didn't have any control over that. You didn't have any control over what they were going to look at when they walked into the house. So you're responsible for these things that you can't control and you can't predict, and you are the one that's going to pay the price for them going ways that you don't have any control over the way they go. And I want to make one more example of this uncertainty that can exist in a narcissistic relationship. If a narcissistic husband expects his wife to cook him dinner, let's say that wife accepts that responsibility and sees it as something reasonable. Okay, it's my responsibility, it's my job to cook dinner every night, and that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, but if you're in a relationship with a narcissistic person, this quickly turns into an obligation. This isn't something you do out of joy. This isn't something you do because you like doing it, or it makes you feel good, or you like cooking, or whatever. I mean, those things might exist, but the narcissist's expectations can quickly ruin any good feelings surrounding this. So you might end up cooking dinner because you're afraid of what will happen if you don't. And introducing the uncertainty to this, let's say that your narcissistic husband sometimes is fine eating out, maybe once or twice a week, but there's this gray area, there's this uncertainty. So the wife might, around 3 or 4 o'clock every single day, start planning dinner or what she's going to do for dinner that night. And some days she might be really tired and thinking, I wonder if we could just do takeout tonight, if we could go out to a restaurant, and never really knowing if that's okay, because sometimes it's fine. Sometimes this husband might actually want to eat out, but sometimes he might judge his wife and think, well, you really should be doing the cooking, you know. And in a narcissistic relationship like this, the wife can't really just call her husband and say, hey, what do you think about takeout tonight? She can't really ask him that, because after she's asked that, whatever he's going to think about it is already going to happen and it's going to be too late. It's this communication I was talking about. There's no straightforward communication. It's all guesswork. So this wife, every time she chooses to have takeout or go out for dinner, she's taking a risk that that's going to be the wrong thing that night, that the narcissist is going to be disappointed in her. And if she actually calls and asks, hey, what do you think about takeout tonight? He might say, oh yeah, that sounds fine, but then give her the silent treatment for the rest of the night. And there's no way to predict this. It's uncertainty. It's a lack of communication. It's a lack of trust. It's him being suspicious and feeling like she's neglecting him when he's expecting way too much of her, and he's unwilling to clearly communicate. When you live with a narcissist, you are living with somebody that expects the whole household to revolve around them. You're living with somebody that sees everything that happens in the household as something that is related directly to them, something that's all about them. So if you're sitting in the living room with them and you're both doing your own thing, you know, you're both just reading a book, and I mean, maybe you just get up to use the bathroom or something. You might be with somebody that's so insecure that they make that all about them, and they wonder where you're going, and they wonder when you're coming back and why you're walking out of the living room on them. Because even your needs, your hobbies, your preferences, your opinions, the things that you would like to do, the things that make you comfortable or uncomfortable, have to be all about the narcissist. Everything has to revolve around the narcissist. When you live this way, you are not in a home where you are safe to express your opinions or your preferences. You're not in a home where you are safe to communicate, where if you try to communicate the way that you feel, that anybody's going to listen to you. You never know what you're coming home to. You never know if you're going to have a peaceful day or not, and you're not in control of it because you're responsible for things you can't control. And there are not clear parameters around anything because there's no communication, and attempts at communication could be punished, or they might just be ignored, and you never know. You never know what's around the door. You never know who's coming home to you or who you're coming home to. You are constantly walking on eggshells. You're constantly trying to predict the future. You're constantly trying to read someone's mind who is not operating on logic and certainly not operating out of any concern for you. So what can you do about this? There's really nothing you can do but to understand it. Hopefully find a way out, because that's really the only way out of this prison, is to actually leave it. But I think if you're stuck in this kind of situation, at least for now, the most important thing is to understand that this is not because of anything you're doing wrong. And when the narcissist tries to turn this around on you, just remember these points that I've made here. It's about their inability to trust you and your inability to trust them. They don't trust you just because they don't trust anyone for any reason. And you don't have to do anything to destroy that trust. But they will actually give you reasons not to trust them. And they have an uneven power dynamic with you. So when they try to make it feel like you're doing the same things to them that they're doing to you, just remember these things. You are operating out of fear and guilt and anxiousness, anxiety, trying to predict what's going to happen next. You care what they think. You care about their disapproval. You care about making them mad. You feel guilty when they put guilt trips on you. And these are not things that go the other way. So I hope that these are some things that can help you navigate through this terrible situation while you hopefully find a way out. This is not your fault. There are some really huge differences between the motivations of a narcissist that's trying to control a household through fear and manipulation, and somebody else that just wants to feel safe, secure, and heard in their own home. I hope this helps. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and comment below any ideas you have for me for future videos. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like this video and would like to see more like it in the future. Until next time, thanks. Bye.